Hey, Facebook and First Weekend Club. I am here on Queen Street at a highly secret location. Is it a secret location? Can we disclose where we are?
Yes.
We can disclose. We are at the TKMT. Is that TKM? Joseph doesn't know where we're at.
No,
I know where we're at. Are you from Toronto?
Yeah, Leslieville though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Miles away.
Yeah.
So we are at the TKMT gym above the Urban Barn on Queen Street here in downtown Toronto. And I'm talking with James Pace. Wait, Joseph Pace.
Could be.
I'm mixing James Wilkes and Joseph
Everybody
Pace.
mixes this up.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I thought I would be the one person
Yeah.
who got it right. Anyways, let's get this on track here. We're talking about this film, The Game Changers, that is executive produced by James Cameron. Arnold Schwarzenegger is in it. I mean, there's some big names behind the film. How did you get involved as our Canadian representative?
Yeah, well, I've been plant-based for 30 years, so I've been really interested in the field for a long time. Do you know nutritionfacts.org?
I don't.
Yeah, so it's my favorite website for science-based information on diet. It's little short videos, and they look at all 10,000 peer-reviewed journal articles every year and decide, okay, here are the ones that are the most relevant. Let's discuss what they mean.
So it's really science-based.
And it's free, so
Okay.
it's not commercial. And I was working to get the launch going, the first 5 million views. Now I think they have 5 or 10 million a month. It's a really awesome site. But anyway, I was working for Dr. Greger, who runs the site.
Mm-hmm.
And this UFC fighter wrote, Dr. Greger, with very specific questions about sports nutrition, branched chain amino acids, leucine, thresholds, all these technical things. Which
Stuff that most of us vegans never think about.
Right. And Dr. Greger said, I have this stereotype about fighters, maybe you do too, that they're not so smart. And
That
I know
is definitely true.
I know it's not,
I mean, the perception.
I
not
don't
the
believe
fact.
that anymore, but I
Yeah.
did at the time. And he said, this is not one of those guys. These are really technical questions. They're really thought out. Why don't you talk to him? Because I was really interested in sports nutrition from a plant-based perspective already. And so I got on a call with James, and the first 5 minutes I dropped everything I was doing and I wanted to make this film with him.
So when was this?
This would have been 2011.
Okay, so it's been a while in the making.
It has 5 years, 5 full years of production, and then there was like pre-production. Actually, he had already bought some used camera equipment off of Craigslist, and he had already started to do a few interviews on his own just because he was thinking, maybe I'll put some videos on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. But I thought his story and his journey was so compelling that we decided we would follow the whole journey.
And so you found a bunch of athletes, elite athletes from around the world, really.
Yeah.
How did you identify the subjects?
Well, that's a really good question because it came in various ways. Some of them wrote us. Some of them we literally just Googled them.
So you put the word out that you were working on this documentary, and that's how people.
Actually, no, I don't think we ever really did. I think they heard about the film. They knew that James was moving in the plant-based direction. That this famous UFC fighter, and some of them we honestly just heard about in the news. They would win a gold medal or a world record, and we think, oh, we've got to go film that person. And every time we were nervous that they wouldn't be interested in being in the film. And every single time we got the interview we wanted, so it was pretty lucky.
Is this your first project?
It is, yeah. James and I have never made a film.
Like people always talk about how hard it is to get a film made. You really got not only a film made, but you have some heavyweights involved in this. Like, for example, how did you get James Cameron on board?
Well, one of our executive producers, Rip Esselstyn, who's actually in the film, he's the guy that works with the FDNY firefighters to help them get their hearts in better shape. I don't know how he knew James Cameron. He was at, I think, a Christmas party of his or something. And he, as one of our executive producers, told James about the film. And James was really interested because he himself had gone plant-based, but wasn't really happy with the way a lot of the plant-based movement maybe was approaching the subject matter.
From the ethical, moral?
Yeah, well, I mean, I believe in that stuff, the environmental stuff, the stuff that happens to animals. But I think that Cameron realized, like we did, that there were some bigger obstacles. It wasn't just that the truth is enough. If you just tell someone animals are treated bad or you're going to get heart disease. And I think that he liked the perspective. He's, is really into the military. James Cameron is. And James trains Navy SEALs and Marines and Army Rangers. So I think that connection meant a lot to him. But he did want to wait until we had a reputable director. So when we met Luis Cehoyos, who won an Oscar for The Cove,
an amazing film.
That was pretty much that for James Cameron. He had us come to Malibu. We sat down, talked about our plans, and he sort of said, okay, just use my name. I'm going to give you some funding. was amazing.
Well, I know that he has a vegan, or he has started a vegan-based school or plant-based school in LA. So he's really, really big into this movement, which is fantastic to have people like him and Schwarzenegger, their stature, you know, in the global community. So congratulations on that. We've got some amazing people we're talking to here. I'm so impressed with the amount of people you could bring in. So I've got a personal interest in this film because I've been vegan. I call myself vegan. You could say plant-based. Just
either works.
For about 7 years, and vegetarian for more than I want to admit on camera. Well, since I was a child, let's just say for about 25 years. Yeah. But so I'm really interested in this film. Congratulations being at Hot Doc's 25th anniversary. It's a pretty big coup. So
thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're honored to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking.
All right.
To me.
Time to talk to the main guy in this film, Mr. James Wilkes.
All right.
Not James Pace.
Right. James Wilkes.
James Wilkes.
That's
I got it right this time.
Joseph is exiting.
Joseph is exiting.
Thank you.
Dun, dun, dun. And look who we have here. Mr. UFC fighter, winner of The Ultimate Fighter, season 9, you said.
Correct. Yep.
USA versus Britain. The Americans got a little bit upset when the Britain won and said he should have been training on the American team because he'd been there for 8 years. Well, you know, but you got to be nationalistic, right? Stick with your home country.
Well, I think, to be honest, I would have gone on the show however I could.
Fair enough. Now, I used to watch that show. I was a huge fan. And I remember when Mac Danzig won. Mm-hmm. That, for me, I was such a fan of his and really admiring of the fact that he didn't care what the other people on the show said to him about his vegan ways. He was just like, yeah, I don't put that crap in my body. And he was just all for it. Now, you became plant-based after you left the show.
Yeah, I was training for a fight, got injured. Sparring with the future heavyweight champion, actually. Tore ligaments in both of my knees. Thought, how can I spend my time productively? So I started researching nutrition for recovery and optimal performance. And that's when I came across a study about the Roman gladiators. So the only known burial site for sure of gladiators in the world is in Ephesus, Turkey. They unearthed 68 full gladiator skeletons. Okay. And then scientists analyzed the bones. They did a strontium calcium analysis and a radioisotope analysis. And they could tell that they were eating almost exclusively plants. And I thought, well, that just, can't be true. So that sort of launched me on this quest. For years, I'd been on this search for truth in combat. Bruce Lee would say, research your own experience, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. So I just applied that same mindset now to the research for truth in nutrition. And that's how it all got started. Well,
this is what I think is so fascinating. I mean, Joseph spoke about it, about this perception that athletes are not the smartest people, which is just a stupid stereotype. But I also remember watching The Ultimate Fighter for years and years, that a lot of those guys were incredibly intelligent. There were, people who had their PhDs, and there were scientists, and there were accountants, and like really intelligent people. You're talking so much from the scientific perspective. Mm-hmm. As a vegan myself, I don't really look at it ever from that angle, which is really interesting for me because it makes it more real, I think, for a lot of people. So is that what you find has been a hook for the athletes, is that perspective as opposed to the environmental and all of that?
Well, it's actually been varying, actually. Some of the athletes that I interviewed and met were motivated by health. Some of them were interviewed to come with similar information that I had, and so they knew about the performance. And then some of them are into, for the animals because they thought they're treated poorly, and some of them are in for the environment. But regardless of their initial motivation, they all said the same thing. They all said, I'm recovering better, I just feel better, I have more energy, and my performance has gone up. And so regardless of the motivation, the outcome, was always the same, was improved performance from eating more plants.
And it really doesn't matter what the motivation is. Ultimately, whatever path takes you to the plant-based path is going to be better for the world overall, better for people who are in third world countries who don't have access to food, better just for the world we live in. I just want to mention one scene in the film where you look at the blood of, was it athletes?
Yeah, we had 3 Miami Dolphins players, NFL players. And so on one day they ate a plant-based burrito, on another day a meat-based burrito, and you can just see a huge difference in the blood. We centrifuge it, or the scientists did, and I looked at the plasma, and the plant-based burrito, the plasma looked more like olive oil, and the meat-based burrito looked more like Elmer's glue, and that's affecting endothelial function, which produces nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator, and that opens up the arteries and allows more blood flow and more oxygen and more nutrients to the muscles, and therefore improved performance.
So my eyes are dilating because all this scientific jargon is more than my brain can handle. But basically, ultimately, you're saying that the plant-based diet allows your cells to take in more oxygen.
It allows your body to transport more oxygen. Yeah, so there's a number of reasons. Blood viscosity. So if your blood's too thick, it obviously doesn't go very well, through those pipes, if you will.
Yeah.
And then also the arteries themselves open up from eating a more plant-based diet, and they constrict when you eat a more animal-based diet.
And we won't go into it in detail here because our time with James is up, sadly. But when you watch the film, for those men out there, there is an interesting secondary reason, because after they did this test, they did a test about erectile dysfunction. So if you become a vegan, that problem might just be a thing of the past.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, James.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right. So now we're moving on to some of the big men in the film. Come on in, Nimai. Can we just... engineer. And an engineer? Did you just...
Body engineer.
Body engineer.
Former engineer as well.
Oh, okay. What is a body? First of all, engineer is, I could be a vegan engineer because I feel like that term is just used across industry. So what's a body engineer?
Well, I don't like the term bodybuilder for certain reasons, because there's certain connotations that come with that term. So I decided to call myself a body engineer because my former background is engineering, and essentially that's what you're doing. You're building a body, you design it, you look into the processes, and you optimize everything. You optimize diet, training techniques, form. It's all mechanics. So body enginier seems like a appropriate term.
I think so too. And can we just see your engineered bicep just to show people that size? Size. Yeah. A lot of people talk about you can't maintain size on a plant-based diet. You can't maintain strength. So let's talk about those myths.
Well, I think I'm a bit of a unique case because I've actually never consumed meat in my life.
Really?
I was born and raised vegetarian, and went vegan.
Not know that.
I went vegan 3.5 years ago. So most of the times people say that certain bodybuilders build their physique
and then they became
and then they kind of maintain what they've already built on animal proteins. But I kind of helped dispel that myth because both of my parents were vegetarian. I was raised lacto-vegetarian, so I did consume milk and cheese, but I cut all animal byproducts out 3.5 years ago.
And other than sort of the size issue, like first of all, did you notice a increase in your size?
So since I went vegan, I put on 20 pounds of lean mass.
And how do you explain that to the naysayers?
I mean, it's not easy. And I'm not saying that if you go vegan, you'll automatically put on this size. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of sacrifice as well, more than I care to even say, because it's tough to maintain relationships and all this stuff. When you're trying to stick to a diet so strictly. But it really boils down to diet, because if you think about it, you spend maybe an hour or 2 hours in the gym, but you spend 22 hours outside of the gym, and that's where you grow, and that's where you really have to focus on your attention and what you're doing outside of the gym.
So what kind of, and a lot of people don't want to think too much about what they're eating all the time, and I know for me, it is something I have to think about all the time. Like if I'm out at an airport, if I'm traveling or something, when I'm in Toronto, I know where I can go, where I can get good vegan food. But when you're traveling, it's so hard. And so it's constantly in my mind, like, what am I going to eat, planning ahead. How do you approach that when you're traveling?
You kind of learn tips and tricks, as a vegan or a vegetarian, you always look at where you're going ahead of time. There's apps out there. There's an app called Happy Cow.
I love Happy Cow.
And it's basically vegan Yelp. It'll tell you where all the vegetarian options are. So I always look at that first, and then I kind of plan accordingly. I also bring snacks with me. Luckily, a lot of vegan food is very transportable, like fruits, nuts, bars, even meals. I'll take them with me. But then if you can't do any of that, you just have, there's certain meals you can always veganize at restaurants too, because most of the times people assume that there's nothing vegan on the menu. I can't eat here. But most of the time chefs will always cater to you. They want you to leave the restaurant happy, so you just have to ask, and many people just forget to ask. Yeah, I think that's so true. And the good chefs, I feel like they're going to find it a bit of a challenge to make something great for you. I love that about a lot of the chefs here in Toronto. Where are you from? I'm originally from Mississippi. And that is like the deep south of the United States. Yeah, but now I live in California, which is a lot more vegan friendly, and it's basically like the vegan mecca. So everywhere there's a vegan restaurant on every corner. But I understand in other parts of the world it's not that convenient.
Yeah, I know, but you've given us some good tips. And so in terms of the bodybuilding, has it changed how you work out?
Definitely. So
Body engineering, I meant.
I didn't start body engineering until about 3.5 years ago, right at the same time I went vegan.
Okay.
So I would go to the gym and I wouldn't necessarily have a set plan. I would just kind of walk around, do some curls, do some bench press, no real direction. But once I really started diving into technique, training approaches, that's when I really started to see maximize my gains.
Right.
And same thing with nutrition. Nutrition is the most important part of this pyramid. Is nutrition, training, rest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's a pyramid that you have to focus on, but it all starts in the kitchen.
All starts in the kitchen. Are you a good cook?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Awesome. Maybe one day we'll get a cooking lessons. You have a YouTube channel?
I have YouTube, Instagram. I even post. I have a food page dedicated to strictly what I eat. It's just called Vegan Bodybuilding Food, and all the recipes, all the macros, how much protein, calories, carbs, fats. It's all labeled there for people to go and take the recipes.
So all you wannabe body engineer guys, you can take a page from his book.
Yeah.
Thanks so much,
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So who do we have coming up next? Oh my God, we've got Kendrick J Ferris. Come on in. Three-time Olympian. Yeah, that I thought was really cool. So you are, first of all, welcome.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. You saved your best jokes for me. You said you were gonna.
I got a couple.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Just actual jokes, why did the chicken cross street, or is it gonna happen?
No. Life can be a joke sometimes. It can be funny, but it's serious. So I got a couple of things just to share with people. Hopefully they get a laugh out of it.
Okay. Well, I'm laughing already. So
yeah.
I feel like you're like a duck. You're everything's just kind of composed here, and underneath, though, things are happening.
Oh yeah,
things are happening.
Those little feet that are moving.
Feet are paddling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so you are a three-time Olympian.
Three-time Olympian.
That's 12 years?
12 years, yeah.
That's impressive.
Having the opportunity to, I guess be at the top of my game, I'm thankful for it. So I was on the Olympic team 2008, 2012, 2016.
Wow.
I was the only male to represent in 2016 and 2012.
So, and have you been plant-based during that entire time?
No. Just the last quarter, you said the last 4 years. So I started about 3 years ago, right before my last son was born.
So you've had 2 Olympics before that,
yeah.
And then you went into your final Olympics as you were vegan. How or did that change, your approach, your performance?
Oh yeah, it changed a lot. I think, for sure it gave me a lot more energy. My recovery time was a lot faster. So I was 30 years old at the time, and that's in weightlifting years. That's like a dinosaur. You know what I'm saying? So for me to make 3 straight Olympic teams, it was something that I guess people didn't think would be possible.
Right.
But I feel like changing the diet really helped me out a lot. Kept me healthy. So I'm thankful for that. Yeah.
And you talk a little bit about on your social media. You talk about and in interviews you've done about raising your family and kind of this being something that you consider of value outside of your professional athletic persona. How does that become part of your day-to-day life?
Yeah, us being thankful, you know what I'm saying, that we do have life and waking up, I think is very important. So when we put something into our mouth or even we take anything in, like watching or listening to music or whatever, it's really important to your overall well-being. So I wanted to just kind of start there. And just try to, get as pure as possible.
Yeah.
Paying attention to what we're eating and making sure it's clean and that we're going to get the results that we're looking for out of life. People saying that living life, they want to live it to the fullest. So this is the best way to start, paying attention to what you're putting into your body.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm thankful for the opportunity to share that with my family.
And you don't eat you don't use a lot of protein powder, you said.
No. But in the past, I grew up in that.
Yeah.
High school started using some protein and use it all the way up until, right when my son was born, transitioning from there and making some changes. But protein, we gotta learn what words are. You know what I'm saying? Proto just means the first. Proteins, that just means the first quality of what's essential to life. So just get the origin of the word protein and you'll see what it means. The first source, the same way you have elephants or they say gorillas are eating these vegetables and getting really big and strong. Yeah. And
they're not eating chickpeas or legumes. They're just eating plants, literally plant-based.
They're eating what people call grass food.
Yes.
So if you really get plant-based with it, oh man, yeah, you can really build up.
Yeah. Do you find, like, do you get that a lot in your world of people saying, oh, what do you eat all day, man? Do you eat salads? Do you eat grass?
That's what they think.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in Louisiana, so when people say, like, you don't eat meat, I'm like, well, what do you eat then?
Right.
I'm like, so when you wake up in the morning, you take a bowl, you put beef tips in it, and then pour milk on it. No one does
do you?
it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not eating meat every single meal, every single day. You probably eat a lot of it.
Right.
But people get opened up. So it's a good opportunity for me just to say, nah, you know, I probably had the same thing you had. We just switched the ingredients. So it's cool.
I love that. There's like a whole place out in front you could walk past.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Walk right through. Listen, he wanted his 15 seconds.
You gotta get it.
You gotta get it.
Take it when it's there. You never know when this opportunity will be here.
It's true. Right now, live. Oh, yeah, dude, can you just walk in front of? Yeah, just
it's all good.
It's all good. Come on in. Say hi to the camera. It's good.
Right. Appreciate y'all letting us be in your space.
Thank you so much, Kendrick.
Yeah,
and you can follow this guy too on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and the rest.
Just look me up, Kendrick J Ferris.
Kendrick J Ferris, yeah.
Easy.
That's right, y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
Yes. So now our final guest of the day is Mr. Misha. Come on in.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Where are you from?
Originally from Switzerland.
Yeah. And where do you live now?
All over the world. Traveling.
Oh, you're a world traveler?
Traveling for the last 2 years nonstop.
What's your favorite place that you've been?
Oh, that's a good question. Toronto, yeah. No, I actually love Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
I fell in love with South America, especially Colombia as well, and Los Angeles for sure. Also one of my favorite places.
Well, yeah, and Los Angeles, again, as we were talking to the other folks, such a great place to be vegan, such an easy place to be vegan. When did you make that transition?
3 years ago.
Okay.
And when you say LA is easy, I'm also very surprised because I think like everywhere I go, it's easy. It's now easy.
Really?
Like with the Happy Cow, it's like everywhere in South Africa and even in the smallest towns in Thailand, there's a whole island just for vegans, like Koh Phangan. So
I need to go to there.
When I made the transition 3 years ago, I was like, holy crap, what am I doing here?
Right.
I'm going to lose all my gains and there's going to be no food, there's just salads. And then now when I see how I was thinking 3 years ago, it's completely different gains. It's unbelievable. Like you can really just like open up Happy Cow, have a burger there, have vegan pizza there. Yesterday we went to Planta.
Oh, it's amazing. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Love
so you said you were a little bit nervous when you made the transition. What made you make the transition then?
So I came to the States the first time in 2012 from Switzerland. So Switzerland is a very small country. You really see the cows on the fields, eating grass, and you still have that image that animals are animals, and you eat meat and you drink milk because it's fresh. But when you come to the States, you realize, holy crap! You go to a Walmart, and the freezing section is 1 kilometer long, like 2 miles long, and that there's one Walmart of like 1,000. I realized this is an industry I can't support anymore.
Right.
Like this is so like there's a guy sitting on a chair and say, how can we slaughter more animals more efficiently, more faster? Yeah. And I was like, this is my wallet, my money. I only want to support people who do good things. Like you only. Every time you swipe your credit card, you support someone, and I don't want to support people I don't like what they're doing.
Right.
So that was like the first question. Then afterwards, I was like very curious about the performance changes, and I did like a community with my community, just like a test on YouTube. Like, guys, I'm gonna go vegan for 30 days. It's gonna be crazy. And after 30 days, I was like, that's so easy. Let's go on. And then it became an egoistical thing as well when I started to feel all the advantages for sure.
And so in that first month, what were some of the biggest changes you noticed?
I was not able to eat the same amount of protein anymore, which was not a bad thing.
Okay.
That's cool. I found out that I don't need that much protein, like almost like it's a little bit overrated. Even in the bodybuilding, like you need that protein. And I realized that my digestion got very adapted very fast. I was like a little bit like scared that I maybe be bloated all the time.
Right.
But beans, lentils, legumes, if you eat it like on a regular basis and you don't mix them with meat, so you don't have like a stew with lentils and meat, you're super, super efficient with your digestion, and it helped me a lot. Like basically you just feel cleaner somehow, you know, and that was like one of the biggest things, the recovery after a few months. But in the first month, especially the fact that you can eat, you feel like satiated super fast, and you don't eat a lot of food, you know, so like calorie wise, you can actually stay lean a lot easier on a vegan diet as well. And that's what I found out as well.
Did you ever have a moment where you're like, this is too hard, I gotta go back?
I mean, when I transitioned, there was like this flexitarian time where sometimes I walked through a pizza place. Like I am still a pizza lover. And usually I was like eating a pizza on a regular basis, and now it's like the vegan pizza is like still the only thing I think we need a few years.
The cheese still needs some development. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, exactly. 2 more years and we're there.
Although, you know what I found is that the Whole Foods in the States, not here, but Whole Foods in the States, they have the best cheese.
Yeah.
So try that out. Try that out.
That sounds good.
Well, thanks. You know what? They say real men need to eat meat, but we have seen 5, 6 real men here. Can we just see the size of your bicep?
Bro.
Let's see
compare it with your, ooh.
Tell them about Trinity Bellwoods.
That looks good. Trinity Bellwoods. This is where we're gonna be in exactly 3 hours, so around 2 p.m.
Okay.
We're gonna give away tickets
to the screening.
To the screening tonight and the after party.
And the after party. So don't you guys want to hang out with these amazing guys? They're gonna tell you some of the jokes that they had planned for the interviews that we didn't get to all the jokes. It's gonna be an awesome night, right?
Yeah, awesome. You're also there?
I'm gonna be there.
Perfect.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Guys, come by.
It's
2 p.m.
And the 2 p.m. at Trinity Bellwoods, and the film is tonight at
6 p.m. Where?
6 p.m. at the Tiff Bell Lightbox. You can try and get rush tickets. Check out hotdocs.ca to find out the other screening times. You don't want to miss this film. Thanks a lot, Misha.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, guys. That's it for us. Ciao.
Cheers.
Thanks. Yeah.